GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is Get it, baby. GMGP. It is Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is, the Canadian, the double, and maybe even triple down king himself, Jordan Richards. You can find him at your boy JRich. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, right here on the channel. If you were locked in, if you were tuned in, if you were listening live, first and foremost, I appreciate you being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, probably sleep, but you decided to wake up and vibe with us. We're going to give you an actionable and entertaining show. And the only thing that I ask, the thumbs up button, like the stream. Yes, we need the likes. Get us in the algorithm. We got to grow, baby. We got to grow. JRich costs money. He's threatened to leave me already if we don't pay him more. So run it up, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, we have a good time every single time, JRich. And we got the people in the building this morning, been engaging in the chat. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened early, JRich, but we had some technical difficulties, but it's all good. Jimbo in the building. JR Enterprise in the building. Adam Zaff, MV Prof, Alan Davis. Yes, sir. Hit the like. Jay Sully. I don't know if I want to say go Niners, but what's popping with you, Jay? You in here every single day. Jordan Baker rolling with Johnny. Greg Oswald, Sean, Josh, Kevin in the building. And you know Keegan is in here. Keegan said he dropped 44 on that Haskins. 40.
Jeez.
JRich, hey, if people don't know, I fully intended on starting this show on time, and then it hit me. I was like, oh, shit, we got waivers, baby. I got to put some claims in for that Hassan Haskins that I dropped 2 weeks ago. So I broke the bank for that Haskins over Vidal. But JRich, how are you doing this morning? Your Blue Jays didn't get it done, JRich. I know you're claiming them now since your Red Sox are out of it. You got to claim the Blue Jays. They did not get it done, JRich. How are you this morning, my friend?
I'm good, actually. You know, I obviously did watch the Jays and Yankees, and Ray, I'm assuming you watched it too.
I did watch it.
That was a long baseball game. Yes, it started at 8 o'clock, but it's like 10 p.m. and it's the fourth inning, and I'm like, oh my God, is this game ever gonna end?
Yeah.
It was a good game, though. Like, I did want to come on here. I know everyone thinks that I hate the Yankees, but I was gonna give Aaron Judge his credit, man. Like, to hit that home run in that spot, to bring the team back, like a hit that he's needed to make for his entire career and has yet to do so. It was such a big moment for him. I wanted to give him his credit. It was absolutely ridiculous that he put that ball in the seats off the foul pole. Great game. Sucks for the Jays. And honestly, like, it's one of those things that if you are not a Jays fan, you know a home run like that breaks this team almost every single time. So it's interesting to see how they respond tonight. We got 4 games on tap today, Ray. I am very excited for a full day of baseball. But yeah, seeing the Yankees come back was pretty crazy.
We need to get you live streaming baseball, man. We just need to get the JRich playoff baseball channel popping. If you guys are not members to DDFFB, it's the other YouTube channel that we have. Strictly fantasy football. Scott, Connor, Shane, Brandon, Ty, Gabe, Dynasty Theory, and the crew over there. We did run the Trinity show on Monday. We posted that for our members over there. That will drop later on today. So week 5, looking at the usage for the wide receivers. You see Smitty on the screen. You see Kendrick Bourne. We talked through him. Debo, Jalen Waddle, assuming that big-time role in Miami. You got to trust it, baby. The best usage visualization tool in the fantasy football game. We were talking some Trinity and wide receivers yesterday with Matt Harmon on our Data Dump show. Go check that out on Yahoo Fantasy as well. And we were just gushing over some of the usage for some of these young receivers right now. So trust the Trinity. Check it out on DD Fantasy Football. But Jay, we got a lot to talk about today, man. This is probably the favorite show that we do outside of just reacting to shit that happens on Monday. It's the things that we love and the things that we hate going into week 6. We did have a Monday Night Football game, and I'm going to be honest with you, Jay. I didn't watch any of it. I watched very little. I followed on the phone, but we were at the American Airlines Center. WWE came to Dallas. Best Monday Night Raw in months. It was a phenomenal show.
Really?
The
Is it just 'cause you're
OTC.
there?
Yeah, no, that everybody says it. Everybody is saying that it was a phenomenal show, great show, and my boys, we we get the good seats, right, JRich? We get the good seats, baby. Yeah, the boys know. They're like, we're not sitting up there. We were in the right spot where when Jey Uso comes out of the back, Ridge and Rye got a high five from Jey Uso.
No way. Oh,
as
that's sick.
And he got the high
That's
five,
sick.
and then we got the video, and he's like, yes. So
Oh, that's
that was
awesome.
pretty cool. Uso came down, gave him a high five. But great show. Did not watch it live. Got to see some of the stats. Definitely checked out some of the replay. We predicted Jacksonville to win that game. If you follow us on Bleacher Report, we put the QR code on the screen every single show. If you follow us on Bleacher Report, JRich, we called that upset on Thursday of last week. We were like, hey, we think Jacksonville gets it done against the Kansas City Chiefs in this matchup. And it took some miraculous things happening, but they absolutely did. Now, it feels like that game was a decade ago because we missed it. We don't do a show on Tuesday. What do you really want to touch on from the Jacksonville side? There was something that you wanted to bring up for the people, for us to discuss. So what is that?
Yeah, so on the KC side, I mean, we'll kind of get into it a little bit later.
We'll get into it. Just get into what you want to talk about, because we're going to talk about Kansas City later.
The question, honestly, for you and for the people is like, where are we at on Trevor Lawrence? We kind of talked about him, it feels like, every week. Jacksonville, obviously, 4-1, probably should be 5-0 if they didn't blow that game versus the Bengals. Trevor Lawrence had a bit of an up and down start so far to our start to this season, especially for fantasy purposes. But like with a team that's playing well and the way that Trevor Lawrence is playing, 18 for 25, 221 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The pick, kind of is what it is. It's a football play if these things happen. But he also ran in 2 touchdowns and probably could have scored 3 if he could stretch his arms like a little bit further. And, a lot of people dog on Lawrence. I think he's no good. I mean, you look at his KTC rank right now, Ray. He's QB 23.
Damn.
Do you think that's a justified price right now for Trevor Lawrence?
I would pay QB 23 prices to get him. I'm not the biggest fan, but he's locked into a starting quarterback role for like 10 years. So I don't know who's ahead of him, but that seems pretty low. That seems
so
a
would you
little
like
low.
to play a game on Trevor Lawrence?
Not really, but come on.
All right, let's start right above him. Trevor Lawrence or Daniel Jones in Dynasty?
In Dynasty, Trevor
Yes.
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence or Michael Penix Jr.?
T-Law.
Okay, you're taking T-Law over Penix. Trevor Lawrence or J.J. McCarthy, who should be back after the bye in Week 6?
Trevor Lawrence.
All right, now it gets tougher. Trevor Lawrence or your boy Dak Prescott?
Dak.
And Dak should be much higher. Trevor Lawrence or Cam Ward coming off his first victory?
T-Law.
Trevor Lawrence or Kyler Murray, who has not registered a performance above QB 16 this season?
Really? Kyler's been that shit this year?
He has not had a performance ahead of QB 16.
Hey, man,
on
I
the
don't like
entire
this
season.
game. I don't like this game. Trevor Lawrence. I'm not a big Kyler Murray fan, man. I'm not. There's just something. And then you hear
I don't
Bryce
know where
Butler.
Joe is, but
I'm not a big Kyler fan. And then you hear former teammates of Kyler say how not good of a leader he is. Bryce Butler was talking about that on his show. I'm not in on Kyler like that.
Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff?
Goff.
Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud?
Just give me Stroud. I'll just pray that he does what he did against Baltimore every single week. He just plays the Ravens every week.
And then I think you're pretty much at your line. Then you have Purdy, you have Dart. Like, I'm assuming you'd probably take Lawrence today with how bad Dart looked, but Dart's value is high because he's young and it kind of is what it is. But that's Trevor Lawrence at QB 23, and you would have him probably up in the QB 17, 16 range. Which is about where you'd have him.
I think that's appropriate.
High-end QB2 or near high-end QB2.
I think that's appropriate. I absolutely think that's appropriate in that 15 to 18 range. I think that's appropriate for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, you must have been impressed with his performance on Monday night.
I mean, the biggest thing with Lawrence and kind of the biggest takeaway for me is that he actually was really good in the clutch moments. Like when they had a drive to go down and win the game, like he was making plays out there, and he was making it with his legs, he was making it with his arm, and they ultimately won the game because of it. And while the final play was a little bit questionable as to whether or not it was successful or not, they still scored the touchdown and ended up winning the game because of it. But the throw down the right sideline to Brian Thomas Jr. was ridiculous, and it ultimately set up that touchdown winning drive. So that alone for me, just again, it's the confidence Liam Cohen is instilling in Lawrence, and the performance is showing up on the field as well, right? So I think he's been very good so far, and this is a big game on a big stage, so I do think Lawrence deserved his flowers because of it. Mahomes is a bit of another story.
Of course, JRich was impressed by that T-Law. That's one of the comments in the chat. Of course, you were impressed by that, Lawrence. I guess that means you're a Lawrence truther, JRich. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. I've always backed Lawrence because I think that the potential's always been there. I hated on him. But you remember I hated on him early because I thought his price was too high. But now his price is like very reasonable. I feel like people should be in on T-Law.
Okay. All right. Well, we had a little bit of injury news. Let's quickly run through that. Injuries going into week 6. The biggest one, very, very unfortunate. Omarion Hampton. IR. JRich, he's gone to IR, so it's Kamani Vidal, it's Hassan Haskins. They've signed Naheem Hines. They're down 2 tackles, even though reports are Joe Alt should be back sooner rather than later. He avoided IR, so that should help. But Omarion Hampton down. That's very unfortunate. Brenton Strange, Trevor Lawrence's starting tight end, also heads to IR with a hip injury. Very unfortunate. Xavier Worthy, JRich, he was in and out of the game a little bit. He was played a little bit, left a little bit, played a little bit, left a little bit.
So he played, but you could tell his ankle was definitely an issue, right? So it's one of those things where you can see a guy gutting out an injury and hoping that he's fine, and he's still able to make plays, but he was definitely a little bit more banged up than you'd like to see on the field, unfortunately for Worthy. So
we asked, I said, hey, Tyquan Thornton, JRich, he was out there catching deep passes
12
again.
Fantasy points.
I'll take it. I will take it. He cracked the best ball lineup. Give me that Tyquan Thornton. Brock Bowers, what a disappointing season it's been. He's injured, so it's not all his fault. He probably should have been rested after week 1 when he initially got injured, but it looks like he is still week to week for Brock Bowers. Very unfortunate. Terry McLaurin could be back here in week 6 versus the Chicago Bears. Jalen Coker is still week to week, but he did return to practice. Bucky Irving.
They haven't opened the window yet.
They haven't opened the window yet on Coker?
So we're unsure if he's going to play this week, but
does it even matter? Doesn't even matter.
A little bit. The slot role, if Coker's in that role for Carolina, it's a big role, should he get that role. So it doesn't matter.
You must not have looked at that Carolina Trinity, man. It's Teterow McMillan, and it's a big gap.
When Coker comes back,
he's going to get in there? Okay.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Your boy Bryce has got to be able to support it. So far, not so good for Bryce Young supporting anybody in that offense. Bucky Irving and Mike Evans are going to miss week 6. At least that's what it's trending towards. Kyler Murray dealing with a foot injury. They'll monitor it throughout the week. Okay, Kyler, foot injury. George Kittle, long shot to play week 6 and unsure if Brock Purdy plays. I am not planning on either of those guys being in the lineup here in week 6 versus Tampa Bay. And then CJ Gardner-Johnson. He is signing with the Ravens. JRich, they traded away Owe, their edge rusher, outside linebacker, DN. They bring in CJ Gardner-Johnson to fix that leaky defense. Do you think it happens?
No, they traded him away for a reason, and then Houston decided to release him. So he's like, you know what? I'm already getting paid all this money. Might as well go back to the Ravens. They clearly need some secondary help. Is he going to help them? Who the hell knows? But why not, man? CJ's back in the league. Let's go.
CJ Gardner-Johnson is back in the league. All right, Jay, let's get into it. 10 things we love/hate going in to week 6 of the NFL season. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about, and I can't believe I have this on the love section, but that just shows how bad things were going in Cincinnati. But JRich, I low-key kind of love this trade, this acquisition of Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals. Not for Joe Flacco, JRich, not for Joe Flacco, but I kind of love it for Chase Brown and Jamar Chase. I kind of love it for Chase Brown and Jamar Chase. I talked about it with Matt Harmon yesterday on the data dump on Yahoo. I don't believe that Jamar Chase's outlook gets this significant rocket ship boost up. This idea that we're getting the 8-game stretch of Joe Flacco from 2023, we need to remove that from our minds. He's not the same player. He's not the same player. He's not that same player. But things were so bad with Jake Browning and in an offense where Joe Flacco's going to dump the ball off a ton. You remember that Dylan Sampson early in the season before Quinshon Judkins got there? Just dump off city, right? That's what Chase Brown needs to be doing. You can't bang him between the tackles. He's not that type of running back. Dump it off, utilize him in space, let him use his speed and his athletic ability, and then Joe Flacco, just target your primary. Target Jamar Chase. Get the ball to Uno. Get the ball to one of the best wide receivers, one of the best players in the NFL. I don't think this is going to solve Cincinnati's problems. When Joe Flacco lost his job going into week 4, he was the stone worst quarterback in the NFL. Tied for second in he was tied for second in dropbacks with Justin Herbert. He was second or first in the NFL in pass attempts and dead last in efficiency. He's throwing the ball a ton, but not doing anything with it. So he was not good at all. I don't think this is a big boost for Cincinnati's offense, but I do love it for Chase Brown and Jamar Chase.
Now I have to ask you, would you be selling this hopium that you are selling to the people? Because, while yes, Joe Flacco seems like an upgrade, and everyone's happy because Joe Flacco's going to throw it all over the yards, be better than Browning.
I did not say, wait, let me just be clear. I did not say he was going to throw it all over the yard. I didn't boost up the tight end. I didn't boost up T. Higgins. I said dump offs to the running back and get the ball to Jamar Chase. Full stop.
Okay, but you're still saying, you're still optimistic, right?
I said what is confusing about what I said about those two guys? Yes, those two.
Okay, so you are preaching optimism.
What are you about to preach?
I'm just saying that you're preaching
What's
optimism.
Your sermon? Let me hear your sermon, Pastor.
So, the Bengals get an upgrade in EPA per dropback per next-gen stats from the last-ranked quarterback in Jake Browning to the second last-ranked quarterback in Joe Flacco, a difference of negative 0.03, and Joe Flacco under pressure 41st out of 43 qualified passers in under pressure passer rating, and then 36th out of 38 qualified quarterbacks this season. He's terrible under pressure, playing behind that god-awful Bengals offensive line. So, again, I hear your reason for optimism, but why wouldn't you sell this same optimism? Why wouldn't you be going to whoever you could find and say, you know what? Chase Brown's going to catch 6 passes a game now. Give me a first for him.
What do you want, Cincinnati? Well, what do you want, Cincinnati fans? You want Browning? Huh? You want Mike Glennon to come back? They're not trading. Jameis Winston ain't walking in the building. What else do we have to look forward to, Jay? Yes, I'm trying to be optimistic because it was awful. And I know Jamar Chase finishes, wide receiver 2 on the week last week?
He did.
He had 110 receiving yards, right? 110 for Jamar Chase? 80 of them came in the fourth quarter on 2 catches. Those 2 catches went for touchdowns. But he had 2 grabs, 2 touchdowns, 80 yards. Jay, who's he got this? I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. This is how bad it is. I don't know who they got. Who they got this week?
They got Green Bay this week.
I ain't scared of Green Bay. Green Bay got lit up the other day, man. Dallas lit them up. Took them the longest time you can play.
Since he ain't Dallas.
So you don't think this is any type of upgrade over Jake Browning?
All I'm saying is that while I do agree with you, let's hope it's an upgrade. Let's preach optimism, and I do agree with that. But if there is someone out there that really thinks this is like game changing and everything's gonna be different now because I get Joe Flacco, I'm not saying you did, but I'm telling the people, like, real advice is if people are buying into this, that the way that it seems the fantasy community is getting hyped up for Joe Flacco to be behind the Bengals offensive line,
it was.
Like, let's at least entertain the possibility of trading away some of these bombs.
Okay, that's fine.
Over the hope that things get better. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, JRich, let's move into some hate. So I guess we're gonna start off hate. I love that upgrade upgrade for Cincinnati. You hated it. I think we will universally agree on this hate topic. JRich, I really feel for Ravens fans, man.
This is so unfair.
I really, truly, from the bottom and the depths of my soul, feel for Baltimore Ravens fans because they have the pleasure and the honor, JRich, of, I believe they're hosting the Los Angeles Rams.
I think they are, too.
Jay, no BS, man. Puka might go for 200. Puka legitimately might go for 200 on Baltimore. Stafford, fire him up. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where the experts have Matthew Stafford ranked. I don't know where they have him ranked. But JRich, I feel for what's about to happen to Baltimore Ravens fans this Sunday. It could get very, very rough. They lose this game in spectacular fashion to Puka Nacua, Stafford, Adams, Kyron, and the Rams. They are 1-5. The season, it already feels like it's over, but this will be the nail in the coffin. 6 weeks in, 1-5. There's no shot. There's no shot. Do the Ravens stand a chance in this matchup, JRich? Do they stand a chance, or is this just get ready? Get ready.
I mean, Ray, you look even last week, the Rams were number 1 in neutral pass rate. I don't know why anything would change this week. Maybe they want to get Blake Corum a touchdown. Maybe they want to get Jarquez Hunter a touchdown. I'm sure everyone get a touchdown if they want it. You asked where Matthew Stafford is ranked. He's 11th right now in the ECR, which is kind of ridiculous, but, it is what it is. And you also have the Rams coming off a short or a longer bye as well, right? Because they did play the Thursday night game. So it's not looking good for the Ravens at all. Puka Nacua can do whatever he wants. I'm sure Devontae Adams will find the end zone. It's really just who do they want to get the ball to this week more so than who ultimately gets the ball and how much success do they find.
This is not my team. Why are people saying the Ravens and spelling it with a Ray? I've never claimed this team. I've never claimed it.
How many weeks ago was it that you said that Lamar Jackson needs help?
He does. That's factual. He needs some help. He needs some O-line help. JRich, there's no O-line. We need a receiver. Okay, no, it has not. It's been dreadful. We need a receiver, a real proper outside number 1 weapon.
What about DeAndre Hopkins, Hall of Famer?
Come on, man. Come on. They got to get Andrews out of there. They're doing my boy Lamar wrong. He absolutely needs help in this offense. And I feel for Ravens fans. Puka might put up 200, JRich. Real talk, he legitimately may put, because he's going to be fed. His reception total is probably going to open up at 7.5, 8.5 receptions for Puka Nacua. I mean, he's getting fed every single week. Stafford
do you think we see Stetson Bennett in the second half? That to me is what I think is the real possibility.
We saw Davis Mills the whole damn fourth quarter.
That's what I'm saying. Mills we can see some backups play in this game. Like we could see a Jarquez Hunter fourth quarter.
What's the injury report looking like for Baltimore? Do we know? Do we know what the injury report is looking like? Because they had everybody out defensively last week, and Nick Chubb. Kyron Will, this is a juicy matchup. Jay, I'm going to go as far as to say this. Yes, you're starting Puka, you're starting Adams, you're starting Kyron Williams. I think in deeper leagues, if you got to go deep, I think Tutu Atwell is viable in this one. Let him get deep, catch a touchdown. I don't want to go any tight ends out there because they don't utilize the tight end. But yeah, Tutu Atwell in deeper leagues, maybe a desperation flex play as well.
Yeah, so because it's not Wednesday yet, we don't have a updated injury report, so it's still the injuries from yesterday. So we'll have to update it all on Friday when we do the Friday show because nothing's been reported because the Wednesday practices haven't commenced yet. But yeah, we'll see if Emory Jones is back. Matabuke's not going to be back, but then a lot of questionable tags beyond that, and all those players seem to have played, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah, this is going to get rough. Puka Nacua, monster performance incoming here in week 6. JRich, let's get on to the next topic, the thing that we love, and I'm gonna let you take this one, JRich. I'm gonna let you profess your love for this one. I had a hard, fast rule this year, JRich. What was my hard line in the sand rule with players coming off of injury, especially ACLs?
Oh, you said you weren't taking them.
I just said I wasn't drafting them, right? I didn't want to deal with it in year 1 after an ACL, major knee injury, Achilles, ankle, no thank you. And I pretty much stayed true to that. No Ayuk, really. I didn't touch a lot of Chris Godwin over the summer. And unfortunately, JRich, I also didn't draft a lot of Stefon Diggs. But right now, the connection that he and Drake Maye have, I absolutely love this going into week 6. He's not the same. He's not the same Stefon Diggs he was in Buffalo, right? That was 5 years ago. But he's getting healthy, and he's Drake Maye's most trusted weapon right now in this offense. And I know that the fantasy points didn't follow Drake Maye's stellar real NFL football performance on Sunday Night Football, but I do think this connection between this young second-year quarterback and this veteran who clearly has a lot left to prove, a lot left in the tank, and most importantly, JRich, that knee is healthy. He looks like he is back. He is healthy. His Trinity score over the last 3 weeks is a 7.4, which is that's a really good score, like a really good usage score. You've seen the usage tail off for Kayshon Boutte and Hunter Henry, and it's really Stefon Diggs who is the big beneficiary of this passing attack. So going into week 6, man, I do think this connection continues to grow and continues to get better between Diggs and Maye.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger thing here with this team is can they, one, get the rushing game going? Because you look at their stretch right now, they have New Orleans, they have Tennessee, and can they kind of develop that chemistry in the rushing attack to have a bit more balance offensively? But the offense has been completely shifted in the direction of Stefon Diggs. It's not Hunter Henry getting 7-8 targets anymore.
It's not.
It's just Diggs and a spattering of players here or there, along with the running backs and the rushing attack, and then Drake Maye doing his own scrambling, and that's the offense now. And that should have always been the offense. And yes, Diggs was coming back off injury, so they had to kind of work their way into that. But they're here now, and this is kind of similar when you talk about a situation like Tennessee. This is what you want to see from a player like Calvin Ridley. Get all the targets. You're the only guy there, and that's exactly what's happening with Stefon Diggs. So he's definitely a startable asset going forward. I love Drake Maye in this matchup. We'll see if New Orleans can respond because they did play pretty well at home against the Giants. I don't know why you got to say it like that.
Why did I say it like what? I said what he just said. He said he wants to get him involved more in the kick return game.
He was already on kick return.
I'm just telling you what Vrabel said. That's what he said.
I know what Vrabel said.
That's what he said.
He was already on kick return.
Well, he said he wants to get him more involved in the return game. Maybe they run some plays for him there.
He was already on kick return.
Maybe they run some different plays for him. They did some trick shit back
he was
there.
the one that recovered the fumble from Antonio Gibson on that kick return.
He's up there playing wedge buster. Right? Now they're going to get him back there to return the kick now. That's what he's saying. He's moved back, right? He was in that mid-level. Now he's going to be in the back.
He was the other guy.
Nah, man.
There's the back guy. There's the guy. He's the guy ahead of the other guy.
He was the second level. He's upgraded to being the deep man now. He can actually touch the ball. Yeah, it should be a matchup where the running back should be able to score points, man. Versus New Orleans, the running back should be able to score points. Do I trust one over the other? Not at all. Because Ramondre just keeps fumbling and they keep giving him the ball because they don't want to give Henderson the ball. They don't.
Ray, the stream stopped on Twitter again. So you'll want to just take that down. But it's good
stopped
on YouTube
X.
still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Elon, I don't think Elon likes those streams on X, man. I don't think Elon likes those X streams, JRich. So let's just got to join the YouTube chat.
Not our content.
No, it does not, man. One of a lot. But let's get to it. What else? People are saying Henderson's shaking my head. Henderson's second half league winner. Maybe he returns punts. Might be one of the worst takes of the offseason, but everyone agreed at that time about Henderson. I don't know what to do with the backfield, Jay. I think you're just hoping every week, right?
I think you're fine. I think you just start Ramondre.
Ike said it. Ike said Hendo is cooked.
He's not, man. You got to let him play, right? Like you can't say the dude is finished when he hasn't actually played. And if you believe he's never going to get that opportunity, that's a different story, but he just doesn't get that opportunity. It just is what it is.
We'll see if it happens versus this team. It should. He should get some opportunity, but I do not know, Jay. Let's move on to the next topic. What do we have, Jay?
Next, we have our hate, Ray, and we absolutely hate the Cowboys defense against the Carolina Panthers. And what we expect from this Cowboys defense weekly is absolutely nothing. But maybe, Ray, they did look good against the Jets. So maybe there's an opportunity for them to get after Bryce Young. But let's not forget that right now, currently, in terms of fantasy purposes, the Cowboys have the worst defense against wide receivers. And Rory McMillan has yet to score a touchdown despite having over 300 yards receiving on the year. So
Unreal.
Is this the week that finally Bryce Young and McMillan connect in the end zone for a touchdown? For anyone who does want to buy McMillan right now, there is potentially opportunity here to buy him a little bit lower than after a potential big game. Rico Dowdle last week, 200 yards on the ground against Miami. We probably should talk about who Miami's playing this week and what could be done there. But how do you feel about Rico Dowdle in this matchup against your Cowboys, and especially with Chuba Hubbard potentially back? Hate the Cowboys defense versus the Panthers. I think they really could allow quite a few points. I think the Carolina Panthers offense could be pretty
And you
decent in
said
this game.
Dallas played a little better. They were able to sack Justin Fields, but he was still a top 5 quarterback. Garrett Wilson still went off. Breece Hall had 14 carries, over 100 yards, and Mason Taylor feasted on that Cowboys defense. So no, they were not very good versus the Jets. They applied some pressure, but that's probably a byproduct of an awful quarterback that is Justin Fields. I hate it. I hate this matchup, and Dallas should beat Carolina. Dallas should make life uncomfortable for Bryce Young, but you know what? That defense is so bad. I think they're going to score points. Rico Dowdle or Chuba Hubbard's going to be able to run on this Dallas front. We're not even going to talk about Dallas's offense. They got one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the NFL. They're going to continue to cook. Absolutely.
Really?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Best offense in the NFL.
They have one of the
best. They have a great offense.
No.
Best offense in the NFL.
They have. Well, let's talk about your offense. Chargers. You said they were a top 5 offensive unit. Top 5 offensive unit.
How does Dallas look with their top 2 tackles down, their top 2 running backs down?
Actually, they had 4 new offensive linemen on Sunday, and they looked outstanding. They had 4 new offensive linemen up front. One starter was Terrence Steele, who's the worst one of them all. No Booker, no Smith, no Guyton, no Cooper Beebe, and they still got it done. Javonte Williams, one of the best running backs in the NFL this season. Dak Prescott, MVP candidate. George Pickens, top 10 in fantasy points per game right now. No CeeDee Lamb. Jake Ferguson leads the NFL in tight end receptions with 41. And you want to tell me this ain't one of the best offenses in the NFL? Tell me how not.
Because they're not an offense that's efficient. They are predicated entirely on volume. And that's every number you've just given me is volume driven. It is not efficiency driven. And that's what determines great offense. It is not volume, it is efficiency. But yes, they do have to score 40 points a game because their defense is terrible.
How many offenses are better in Dallas right now?
But continue to talk about how they put up 40 points on the Jets. Congratulations. You put up 40 points on the Giants. Congratulations. But when you had to play Philly, what happened?
What offense would you take right now over Dallas? What offense would you take right now over Dallas?
I would take Kansas City's offense over Dallas when
healthy.
When healthy. We will get
out
there.
Of here. Get the hell out of here, man.
I would take Baker and that offense over Dallas's easily.
Did you really say Kansas City? Did you really say Kansas City?
Once Rice
you know what
back,
that was?
Kansas City.
You had no answer for that question, and you just the first thing that popped in your brain, you blurted that. There's no way you're taking Kansas City. Not a chance.
I would.
No way.
100%. Once Rice is back, I would 100% take Kansas City. 100%. Mahomes is actually playing pretty good football right now. I'm not saying that Dallas's offense isn't good, but you just said they're the best offense in the NFL, and they're just not. Like they're just not. They just are entirely
they're top 3 offense in the
volume.
NFL. Top 3.
Okay. I love Dak.
Do you agree with
I'm
that?
Not saying the top 3 offense.
Do you agree with that?
I don't know. Sure. I'll give you, sure. I don't know if I'd give them top 3, but sure. If it makes you feel better.
If it makes you feel better, how about that?
I don't care. I have no stake in this. It's just the fact that you said Dallas is a top offense in the NFL.
The fact that you said Kansas City is better. Well, you didn't have to say that.
They're going to be better. I know you didn't watch the game, but Jacksonville didn't get a whole lot of pressure on Mahomes, so he's kind of just sitting back there, ready to throw the ball to somebody. Just no one was open.
JRich, let's go to break. We're going to go to break. Hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the stream. We're going on break. We got to go to break. We'll be back, and we'll continue this conversation of the things that JRich does not love here in week 6, which has been none of my loves going into it. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back in the stream. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We appreciate you being in the building. We appreciate you pulling up on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button. Like the stream if you're watching. Helps us get in the algorithm. The show grows. The channel grows. I got to pay JRich a lot of money around here. So much love, much appreciation to y'all who do that. Check out our fantasy football channel, DDFFB, Manic and Chill tonight. We got some dope stuff dropping over there very, very soon. JRich, let's keep this party rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling. Jay, and get into the next thing I think we both will agree with that we love here going into week 6. And it is the battle between one Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers, which appear to be led by Mac Jones. Looks like it's going to be another week of Mac Jones under center. Man, it doesn't matter who's kind of back there right now, JRich, whether it's Mac Jones, if it's Brock Purdy, if it's DeMarcus Robinson, Kendrick Bourne, Jake Tonjes, which is he's a top 10 tight end on the season, yep. JRich. It just, you know what hurts is we were very much on the side of George Kittle. If there were going to be a tight end to challenge Brock Bowers for a tight end 1 supremacy here in 2025, it would be George Kittle. If Kittle were playing, he probably would be the top tight end because Jake Tonjes is balling out right now and George Kittle is better than him. But this matchup between Tampa Bay and San Francisco, I'm loving it, Jay. I think there's going to be fantasy points scored. Baker Mayfield playing at an MVP level. We see what Emeka Egbuka is doing on limited volume. They got their other rookie wide receiver, Tez Johnson, going a little bit in that game. Sneaky, like deeper stash. Okay. Tez Johnson, I like what we saw in limited duty from Tez Johnson, but him and Sterling Shepard essentially ran the same amount of routes out of the slot. It was Godwin, it was Egbuka, and then Tez and Sterling kind of, which one of these guys is going to be that number 3 for us. Rashad White got all the volume out of the backfield, and then on the Niners side, I just trust Kyle Shanahan to put a game plan together for Mac Jones to be successful. I didn't realize this, Jay. I didn't realize that the 49ers have one of the best passing attacks, cumulative passing attacks in the NFL, period, between Brock Purdy and Mac Jones.
Aren't they leading the NFL in passing yards?
They're leading in passing yards, and I believe they're leading in pass attempts as well, San Francisco. Yeah. So all the volume is there. We really need Pearsall to get healthy. We really need the Kittle to get healthy. But here's the kicker. They have zero rushing touchdowns on the season. Yeah. 0. And when I told this stat to Harmon, he was like, are you sure, man? You sure no running backs have scored? You go look at the game log. Christian McCaffrey's averaging about 2 yards a rush attempt. 0 rushing touchdowns for Christian McCaffrey on the season. I'm loving this matchup from a passing perspective. Both sides of the ball. McCaffrey's going to get his. Mayfield is going to support the weapons. Talk about this matchup between Tampa Bay and San Francisco.
Yeah, this one should be a lot of fun. I mean, obviously we had Seattle and Tampa Bay this week. It just seems like Tampa Bay is playing in a lot of really fun, exciting, high-scoring games this season, and that's probably not going to change this week. You talked about how much they pass the football, and that shouldn't change this week either. Tampa Bay's defense, especially against the run, is still one of the best in the NFL, if not the best on a week-to-week basis, depending on who they're going against. And up against this San Francisco front that's been very weak, has been allowing a ton of pressure, especially not being able to run block at all, and Christian McCaffrey really struggling to get get going on the ground.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any easier against Vita Vea this week. So just like last week when we saw Mac Jones throw the ball 50 times, we probably should see something similar this week, depending on how things go from a game script perspective. But yeah, the biggest problem with this offense is not how many times they throw the ball a game or who it is that they throw the ball to. It's that we never know each week who the guy is going to be. We walk in last week, we say, oh, it's a great opportunity for pass catchers, and it's Kendrick Bourne out of nowhere being the guy all over again. So we hope that Ricky Pearsall can come back. We hope that I think Jawan Jennings is trending potentially towards playing in this game. We're going to see, but we just need a solidified top 2 to 3 options on this offense that we can start weekly because the fantasy points are going to be there. I do want to ask you though, Ray, who do you think wins in this game? Because Baker Mayfield is the first quarterback since at least 1970 to lead 4 game-winning drives in the first 5 weeks of the season. I think it was like fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go, or maybe even be less than that.
I think it's less
every
than
game
that.
they played
is
close.
Yeah.
Right? So every game they've played has come down to the final drive or close to the final drive in the Tampa Bay contest. And I don't think anything's going to change against San Francisco, but who do you think ultimately wins this game?
Well, Tampa Bay's favored by 2.5 right now. Opened at 2.5. It stayed at 2.5 right now. This is tough, dude. I kind of want to give the nod to the road team in this one. I kind of want to give the nod to San Francisco in this matchup. Tampa Bay's riding high after a big road victory versus Seattle. Mac Jones, he's not that good. It feels like maybe, I don't even want to call it a trap game. The Niners are 3-0 on the road this season. Tampa Bay 1-1 at home. I would take the points. If you would give me the 2.5, I would take the points. I would take the points in the Niners in this one.
I tend to agree with that. I think the way that Baker's playing right now, Mac Jones is playing fine football, but even with that, like, I just think I trust Baker more. He's playing at such a high level. He always has them in games, whether it's close or not. It's really just that Eagles game. He couldn't quite make it happen. I'm curious how he plays against the San Francisco front, but yeah, I definitely would lean Baker in this contest, just by a little bit.
I was leaning the Niners, not Baker.
Well, you said you take the points, but
yeah, I would take the points.
I agree
but yes,
with you taking the points,
yes,
but
yes,
I think that Baker could still pull out this game for sure.
All right, JRich, now let's get into it. The best offense in the NFL, according to you, the Kansas City Chiefs, into our hate section. We've talked about this, man, multiple times on the show, that I do not like what is happening in Kansas City from a rushing perspective. You know, we keep talking about they need to find a running back. We need to find a running back. I just want you to look at this real quick. Let me screenshot this and tell me if anybody had this on the bingo card coming into the season, okay? I'm just going to put this on the screen. Look at the leaders for Kansas City here in 2025. Passing yards, Patrick Mahomes. We kind of expected that. Rushing yards, Patrick Mahomes. Receiving yards, Tyquan Thornton. Who had this on the bingo card coming into the season? That we were going to get an established Patrick Mahomes rushing attack, an established Tyquan Thornton receiving attack, and Patrick Mahomes doing his thing at QB. Like this, Jay, something has got to change, man.
Why?
They're 2-3. They're 2-3, and this dude is their leading rusher every week. He's not Lamar. He's not Allen. They have no running game to take pressure off of Mahomes in this offense. And my big takeaway from rewatching this game back is, if there were a player I'm buying, JRich, I need to go get Rashee Rice. Like, how the hell do I get Rashee Rice right now, JRich? I know he's still a few weeks away from playing, but when he comes back, this lack of a running game, it's about to be all easy targets to Rashee Rice. Just quick hitters, get it to him, pepper him with targets. I need to get Rashee Rice right now. I know he's still got a few weeks away from playing. If you could sell some hopium, Jay, let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you this. Let's just take seasonal leagues, redraft leagues. Would you sell the Jamar Chase, Joe Flacco's going to get him going hopium to try to pivot into a Rashee Rice? Would you sell that opium of Chase to get Rashee Rice? Yeah,
I mean, you probably should have done that a couple of weeks ago, but yeah.
Well, you can't do it a couple weeks ago because it was Browning. But if there are people out there like, oh yeah, we're getting 2023 Joe Flacco, Chase is about to go crazy. Like, would you move that optimism for the Cincinnati offense for the unknown with Rashee Rice, who's had an extra 7 weeks to heal up from his knee injury.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I think the only problem, right, is that now you're a week away. Like, Rashee Rice will be back next week because it's already week 6. So can you really convince a manager to take on Chase and give you Rashee Rice? Because I agree with you fully. This offense is going to run through Rashee Rice. And yes, they have no running game, but like, I don't really care if they have a running game. In three of 5 games this season, Mahomes has 60 or more rushing yards. Like, that's what I care about. That's what I want to see. If you have Patrick Mahomes, you're laughing right now because this is a guy that you want to run the football more, to throw more touchdowns. He's still throwing for 300 yards almost every single game. It's really just that first game he really struggled. Against the Eagles, he struggled a little bit as well. But ever since then, man, he's been kind of on fire. Against the Giants, he played very, very well. Against Baltimore, obviously, he threw 4 touchdowns. Last week, this past game, still 300 yards, threw a touchdown, did throw a pick, but still ran for 60 yards. Like, those are things that you expect out of Lamar Jackson. You don't expect that out of Patrick Mahomes.
No, you don't.
So, like, for me, I'd be trading for Mahomes. I'd be trading for Rice. I'd be trading for Worthy. Like, this offense is really going to take off. The last couple weeks, we've seen them grow and grow and grow. And once they actually get Rice back, like, I don't care if Pacheco's even in the game at all because you just want Mahomes to chuck it every play. It'll be like right back to when he first started, like not his rookie year because he didn't play his rookie year, but his second season. All they did was chuck the football, and he threw 50 touchdowns, nearly 5,000 yards, and was a baller every single week. I think that's the Mahomes we're going to get in the second half of the season. And people should be really excited for it because Pacheco is not that good.
No.
Kareem Hunt is fine with what he provides to the offense in his role, but maybe we see some more Brashard Smith, which we did see this week, and it seems like it's more of a pass-catching role than out of the backfield. But I think Andy's decided we are just going to pass the football. And the running game will simply be because we need to have some balance, but ultimately we're going to win on the back of our star quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. And that's probably how it should be with the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Let's get into some love, JRich. I think we'll both agree that we love this matchup going into week 6. The QB battle, 2024 quarterbacks getting after it, JRich. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams this Sunday. The Bears were on bye. Last week, we ran a poll on Yahoo yesterday, which for our YouTube audience, who would the people rather have as their wide receiver in Dynasty, Rome Odunze or Emeka Egbuka? The poll was 78% to 22%. Emeka Egbuka over Rome Odunze. Little out of sight, out of mind for Odunze. Little out of sight, out of mind. But talk about this matchup. The Bears off a bye. I'm very curious to see what this Ben Johnson offense, it was an early bye, so they got to make some early in-season adjustments. I want to see Caleb continue to grow out of the bye. I want to see him continue to grow. We know that the running game is a little bit troubling right now with Swift, and they're trying to do some different things in the backfield, but the connection with the tight ends and Colston Loveland, is he back healthy? DJ Moore, do they get him more involved in the offense post-bye? And then Rome Odunze's maturation. And then we saw Jaden Daniels get a big win on the road. We both thought that the Chargers were going to come through with that one after losing on the road to the Giants. Jaden Daniels started off pretty damn rough in that game, finished with 15 completions, but he got it done late. Him and Deebo Samuel, the connection was there. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt got it going for the first time, kind of his explosion moment in the NFL. 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, running fast, explosive. I think if McLaurin gets back, and I'm not saying McLaurin is going to have this big boom game, but this could be a sneaky shootout because the Bears defense ain't no good either. I'm kind of liking this. Jaden Daniels, 2 weeks back, 2 weeks removed from the injury report. Really loving this matchup here in week 6.
Yeah, the battle of the number 1 and number 2 overall picks from 2024, Ray. I can't believe you didn't bring up the revenge factor here.
Yeah.
This was the game that derailed the Bears' entire season last year. The whole season was predicated off of that Hail Mary, which then after that game, they proceeded to lose 10 straight games. Like, this is such a big game for the Bears, and it's such a big game for Ben Johnson, and such a big game for Caleb Williams to prove that he was deserving of the number 1 overall pick ahead of Jaden Daniels, who everyone says is better than him, who everyone says is the real generational change your franchise type of quarterback. It's not Caleb Williams. That man is Jaden Daniels, and that's the dude that threw the 60-yard Hail Mary to beat the Bears just last season. And all of that video should be throughout the entire Chicago Bears locker room and facilities this week, reminding reminding them of exactly what happened in Washington last year. This is a massive game coming off the bye week. Ben Johnson should have this team hopefully ready to play, but I still think Washington's going to win. I still think Jaden Daniels is the better quarterback.
Is this where Tyreek Stevenson was out there jumping around?
Yelling at the crowd and then allowed the game-winning touchdown.
Man.
This is not a big game if you're like a casual football fan, but when you understand the narratives behind it and what proceeded following it, like, it's a big game. It's a big game for Caleb Williams. And that's where I have some fears here. Does Caleb Williams do too much because he gets a little emotional and he doesn't play within the structure of the offense and makes mistakes?
I think that's why the early bye for Chicago, it may not benefit them down the stretch for teams that have like the week 10 bye. You know, you rest up after getting beat up, you know, for half of the season. But I think the early season adjustments and them to make some small tweaks to their offense, that week of preparation, that extra week of rest, I do think they're going to come out hot. Defensively, they're still a problem. They're not a good defensive football team, so the Commanders should find success. I think in this offense, Krosky Merritt's going to do his thing. Debo's going to continue to do his thing. Jaden Daniels, absolutely. The Bears' defense isn't good. But I do think offensively, Caleb, Ben Johnson, and company, they come out hot and they come out firing. You know, those first few scripted plays for Chicago is always phenomenal. So I think they'll be good. This is a really good matchup. When do they play? Is this an early slate game or... When is this one?
Let me see.
When is this one? I'm looking right now too, Jay. Or is this an afternoon game?
It must be a 1 o'clock.
It's Monday night. It's Monday Night Football. It's Monday Night Football. Hell yeah.
Ray, they got it in the prime time slot?
Hell yeah.
Oh, man, they're doing Caleb dirty, bro.
Hell yeah.
You can't throw Caleb in that prime times. He better play well. Because he can't lose to another second-year quarterback on Monday Night Football through 6 weeks of the season.
I think the Bears are going to be all right. I think the Bears are going to be all right, JRich. I think the Bears are going to be okay. All right, let's get into a hate, JRich. This one is tough because I like the team. I like the team a lot. I think they have a really good team, and from a fantasy perspective, I think the top guys are still going to be in your lineup. But can I say that I hate the Seahawks on the road this week? Is that crazy to say that I hate Seattle on the road against this Jacksonville team that continues to find ways to win? You know, Patrick Mahomes in that matchup against Jacksonville, and we know they didn't have a strong rushing attack. He didn't just go out there and shred Jacksonville. It wasn't just the Patrick Mahomes show out there. The Seattle team lost kind of in Sam Darnold spectacular fashion. You know, tie game, he throws the interception on his side of the field. They kick the field goal to win the game. Now they got to travel on the road to face off against this Jags team who should be riding high after their Monday Night Football victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't like this one for Seattle on the road. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba will still be fine, but I'm just the vibes right now. I feel like this one could be one of those games where we see Seattle drop 2 in a row. I think this is a tough matchup for Seattle and Sam Darnold on the road.
Yeah, we're going to see, right? The other thing about this that I don't really like, and I do agree with you, it's a 1 o'clock game, right? So it's 1 o'clock Eastern. Obviously, Seattle coming from the West Coast to play on the East Coast in this game. That's 10 a.m. for them, which is tough. And we've seen teams struggle in that time slot before. The question really, though, is like, do you think that Darnold and JSN can be good enough for fantasy purposes? Because I think they kind of can. Like, I do agree with you that I think that ultimately Jacksonville is going to win this game. How handily is the bigger question. Is what kind of makes it tough, but I think that Darnold will be fine. I think JSN will be fine. I'm curious how the rushing game looks because we have seen some struggles from Zach Charbonnet. Ken Walker needs to be the guy that kind of just gets all the work or gets in the end zone. It seems like it's kind of one or the other for Walker right now. But the biggest question mark is Sam Darnold going to turn the ball over multiple times? Because going into this game against Kansas City, it was 3 turnovers a game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had forced every single week of the season. They only got 1 against Mahomes, but it was obviously a massive turnover in that contest that ultimately helped them win the game. And Darnold is a turnover-prone quarterback. No matter how good he's playing, he's still
playing good right now, though. He's playing good right now. He's playing great football right now.
He plays great football in the general sense of the entire game, of the 60 minutes. But in those crucial moments, Darnold tends to make mistakes, and that's the moment that we've seen Jacksonville take advantage, and that's the main reason why they're 4-1. It's that one play, it's that one mix-up in coverage, it's that one wrinkle in the defense that causes a big spark, and that's why they've been turning the ball over so many times. That's why they're number 1 in turnover differential on the season, and that's what gives me pause with Seattle, especially winning this game on the road, is that are they able to do enough things right to win and have Darnold play within himself to win this game? That's the biggest question. I think for fantasy purposes, he'll be fine, but I definitely have some concerns about potential turnovers for Darnold.
Jay, are you a little more optimistic? A little more optimistic with Travis Hunter? We saw some flashes in the game. Still low usage. The Trinity is low, but you gotta watch the receptions, right? There's clearly, we know it. He's an extremely talented player. We saw him get down the field. I think he had 3 catches, 64 yards for Travis Hunter in this matchup. 4 catches, 64 yards. 3 or 4 catches, 64 yards. Yeah. Do you feel a little better about Hunter? A little better that his offensive snaps still outweighs defensive snaps on the season. I think it's like 187 to 120. They're using him a little bit right coming out of that first quarter. Do you feel better?
I feel a little better, and it's not so much what we saw on the field. I mean, that big catch, the 44-yarder, was definitely important, but it was what he said after the game. And he talked about how him and Trevor ran that play in practice like over and over and over and over and over and over. And so beyond simply what we see on the field, there's a concerted effort to get him the ball down the field in the games. And they're working on generating these deep shots and these big plays. And in a play like that, where Trevor just trusted him to go up and make the play when he was basically being double covered in that particular play, and he made the play, right? These are the type of things that you want to see, but I still think we need to see a bit more consistency from him to where we feel confident starting him. Because yes, you're right, it was only 3 targets, 3 receptions, 64 yards, but that deep shot may come one week, it may not. And even with that deep shot, he's still only at 9.4 fantasy points, which isn't quite good enough to where you'd say, yeah, I can start him next week, especially against the Seattle defense. So we'll see how he looks, but definitely monitoring it. It seems like he's playing better. I believe he was also the highest graded wide receiver and defensive back for the Jaguars this week per PFF, which is pretty surprising to see. He did play pretty decently well on defense, though.
Yeah, I thought
he played pretty well on defense, surprisingly.
Okay. All right, so not fully in on the Hunter train yet, but at least a positive step forward based on what
if you have him, you should be.
You feel way better. Hell
better.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You feel way better about that. All right, JRich, let's go to this is a love/hate one right here, because you probably are not fans of the other side, the other team, but I love this matchup for Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts this week, JRich, against this Arizona Cardinals team that had to fine their head coach $100,000 for putting hands on the running back DeMarcado. So this Colts offense going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who honestly had the most embarrassing loss so far this 2025 season. I don't think there was a loss
Was it worse than the Falcons loss?
This was way more embarrassing than the Falcons. The Falcons just got foot put in. You're talking about the Falcons versus Carolina? Yeah, that's
lost by 30.
Yeah, that's just called foot's put in ass, JRich. They got foot put in quick. It was swift work. It was like playing Madden. You just 21 skunk past the sticks, right? 21 skunk, you pass the sticks. This was an embarrassing loss for Arizona. DeMarcado drops the ball. You see Gannon hitting him in the chest, animated. He had to come out and apologize to DeMarcado. Kyler Murray's foot injury. The offensive coordinator came out to say, hey, maybe I should have thrown the ball to Marv a little more. We kind of messed up there. What the F is going on in Arizona? If they lose this game, if they get embarrassed on the road, how much longer is the leash for Jonathan Gannon? How much longer is the leash? What do the Cardinals do? Because what they're doing is screwing up us for fantasy. They're jacking up Trey McBride, Marvin, and you can't ask for better usage on that team. It's consolidated between 2 guys. Go look at the Trinity. It's Trey McBride, it's Marvin Harrison, and then there's nobody else. And they still can't get it done, man. This is, I love it for Indianapolis. You know what? Jonathan Taylor, leading the league in rushing. Daniel Jones, top 3 in QB efficiency. Tyler Warren, number 1 in the NFL in tight end receiving yards, right? Michael Pittman, I think he's top 5 in receiving touchdowns on the season right now for the Indianapolis Colts. This is a good offense going up against a team that I really don't think wants to be there, JRich. They might pull another Raiders and just bang the Arizona Cardinals off the field.
Yeah, I mean, this Colts offense at home this season, 33 points, 29 points, 40 points, right? That's been their floor at home. They played phenomenal football at home, and obviously we saw that against the Raiders. How to look against the Cardinals, though? So there's 2 things here at play. You asked about Gannon.
They made him apologize in front of the team, dude.
Well,
like,
okay,
yeah,
I wouldn't say it like that, but he did. I think it's, like coaches, they have their opening meetings and stuff, and I think he apologized to DeMarcado to the team, like in front of the team. More so, I mean, did the GM tell him to? Did the owner tell him to? Maybe, we don't know.
He ain't got no control. His leash is short. That Tennessee loss was pretty damning.
It was bad. But I will say though, and why I don't think his leash should be this short, and I talked about, I believe, either on this show or on Bleacher Report, the Cardinals have yet to allow more than 23 points this season. Which doesn't sound like anything crazy, but like this is what Jonathan Gannon's calling card is. It's defense. And he was brought in to fix this defense. It's been so broken for years. It's been terrible, and he's continued to do that. While, yes, they did lose to Tennessee, and they lost to Seattle, and they lost to the Niners, like they've lost by a combined 5 points the last 3 weeks and are 0-3. So it's not necessarily a defensive problem, which is the reason why Jonathan Gannon was hired in the first place. It's an offensive problem. It's a Kyler problem. It's a not getting the ball to Marv problem. And it feels like something we've been saying from the beginning of the season. This team is not strong enough offensively to win football games against good teams. And the OC sucks. We know the OC sucks. He should not be there. He should be fired. But Gannon isn't going to turn that part of things around. And while, yes, it's embarrassing, and you look to the stretch even for the Cardinals right now, they're going to lose to the Colts. They just are. Like, they don't have a team that can beat the Colts, in my opinion. Then they play the Packers. They're probably going to lose that game. Then they play the Cowboys, right? Do you think they can beat the Cowboys?
No.
Probably not. Then they play the Seahawks on the road. They're not winning that game.
No.
Then they play the 49ers.
No.
Then they play the Jaguars.
No.
Then they play the Buccaneers.
No.
Then they play the Rams.
Hell no.
Then they play the Texans.
Maybe.
Think about how far you had to go. It is October 8th, and you had to get all the way to December 14th, Ray, to say the Arizona Cardinals have a potential victory. October 8th all the way to December 14th. That's how far you had to go down their schedule to find a potential win if they can't win this game. Because they're probably not going to win in Dallas. They're probably not going to win in Seattle. They probably won't beat the Niners. Like, their schedule is very difficult right now. Very, very difficult. And that's where you talk about him being fired. It's going to be because they lose like 10 straight games in a row. And at that point, you have to fire the coach. There's nothing you can do other than to fire the head coach. But it doesn't look good. And Arizona's offense stinks, and their defense
what are your
is playing
thoughts? What are your thoughts
well.
on the interaction? I see some people in the chat. Jimbo said soft.
Look,
soft.
man,
what are your thoughts on that interaction of Gannon?
I don't consider myself an old head, but it feels real soft. Like, again, I saw the video. You'd think he hit him in the face. Like, you think he palmed him in the face or something, like something really embarrassing.
Right.
It's funny because if you're like, yeah, like, good job, like you've probably seen Harbaugh do that because he gets up in the face of players, jacking them up, pushing them and stuff.
Let's go, yeah.
But it's the tone, right? And the way that was delivered and communicated, and the way the player responds, that you're like, okay, that's fine. But when Gannon's ripping his player for fucking up bad, it's a completely different story. And I believe there was I think it was Schefter tweeted it out that like Gannon's the first coach to ever be fired or not fired, ever be fined for something like this, which is kind of crazy. It's just, I don't know, man. I think it's really soft. Like, it's football, and I understand that the visual elements don't look good. You're on TV. You have to understand all that. Like, there's cameras everywhere, but like at some point you have to be able to hold your players somewhat accountable. And maybe amongst coaches, it's like understood that you wait till you go to the locker room or you send them to the locker room, you talk to them after. But again, I have no problem with the coach ripping a player on the sidelines. When you mess up that bad and it costs you the game, it feels deserved from like, if
didn't Kelsey push
Reed.
Andy Reid?
Yeah. Thor tweeted that one out. He's like, I didn't see no fine for this, right?
I think it's kind of soft too. My personal opinion. Yeah. I think it's football. I know what he's. You know what I think. You know what I think. You know what I think he was probably saying. Like having played. You know what I think he was probably saying, man. Something along the lines of, "Dude, you can't do that. We need you. Get your shit together. Yeah. Let's go. You can't do that. You know better. We need you." Because he played after that happened, he was back on the field, right? He was back on the field. I think it was an animated I'm gonna just say this: anybody who didn't like watching that interaction, you shouldn't watch what they're doing to some of them kids in college football on the sideline.
Yeah, college is way worse.
Their face mask in the face, but somebody put it in the chat. It's 2025 soft, so I'll leave it at that. To me, if I were a player and that happened, and then the coach got to get up and apologize and get fined $100,000, you know what I'm thinking? Man, this dude ain't got this is a lame duck kind of coach. There's no real juice, no real power in this head coach. Let's just get through the season and we'll have somebody else in 2026. So
speaks to poor ownership, honestly.
I heard the Arizona Cardinals ownership group, and I don't want to speak too much on this because I don't know in detail, but I heard they're not very good either. Weren't they voted like the worst team facility?
There's a couple, There's a couple bad grades
cheap.
on the Cardinals.
They're bad grades on the Cardinals. They're cheap. Yeah. All right, JRich, let's get into the last hate here going into week 6. And you got the Browns offense on here, JRich. Talk about it.
Yeah, so this is something where, again, it's not that I dislike Quinshon Judkins. Dylan Gabriel's another conversation, but I'd be very cautious with your Browns assets this week for a few different reasons. So last week, they had to travel to London, right? Had to play a game in London this week, and typically, teams have the option that when they play overseas to have a bye the following week. The Browns declined that option. They said, you know what? Screw your bye. We suck anyways. We're going to play next week. So how about after going and playing in London for a week, let's go to Pittsburgh and play a game in Pittsburgh on the road with the Steelers coming off of the bye. So not only are they coming from London and playing a game in London last week to now come back and play on the road, they're also playing a Pittsburgh Steelers team that is coming off of a week 5 bye. And so all of that together for me is an issue alone. But the bigger question is whether or not Quinshon Judkins can still have a good game against this defense, because we talked about how the Steelers defense hasn't been very good to start the year. But since week 2, they're top 5 in rushing defensive EPA and success rate. And since week 3, they are number 1 in rushing EPA and 3rd in success rate, while being 7th in total EPA defensively. On top of that, Tomlin is 26-6 against rookie quarterbacks, and his 26 wins are the most since the 1970 merger. So there's a lot of factors here that are not in the Browns' favor from a narrative perspective, from a travel perspective, from a team coming off the bye versus not coming off the bye. And it's just not a good blend of a situation for the Browns.
Why did they deny the bye? Why did they? We're coming from England, Ireland, wherever they are over there. Nah, we're good to go. We'll be ready to go. Time zones will be fine.
Because they probably wanted a later bye, because they know they'd have to have the bye this week. So the Vikings, for instance, they're on bye this week, right? They're not playing this week. They're off this week because they were just in Dublin and then they were in London. So they're off. But yeah, imagine you're literally coming from London. Now you're back. You got to play in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's coming off the bye.
I hear you. And everything you're saying is probably factually accurate. But I agree with Weeze. I'm playing Judkins versus the 2000 Ravens. He's just, I'm playing him, man. I don't give a damn about none of that, JRich. I'm plugging number 10 in the backfield. He's getting 30 touches in this game. I'm curious to see what Pittsburgh's offense looks like. It looks like Jaylen Warren is going to be back, or at least he was practicing. Yep. I think Kenneth Gainwell will still be involved. I think Caleb Johnson goes away. I think he goes away now that Jaylen Warren is back.
Probably.
And let's, Matt Harmon.
It's It's the Harold Fannons. It's the Jerry Jeudy's. It's the everyone else. You're starting Judkins.
I'm not fooling with no damn Jeudy. I can't do it right now. Fannin and Njoku, Gabriel's going to get the ball out quick. We know he's going to get the ball out quick, but I don't feel great about Dylan Gabriel in this matchup. Shaduer is the QB2 now, JRich. Shaduer is the QB2.
What is, at least for now.
Can we just talk about for now? They got to bring in another quarterback, right?
I got to see the depth chart to make sure.
Go see the depth chart. They've got. What does this mean, JRich?
What does it mean?
What does this mean, right? If they don't have another quarterback on the depth chart, are we going to see Sanders on the field at some point this year?
They do have another quarterback on the depth chart. Do you know who it is?
Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
No, you got to think.
What color is he? White or black?
He's black, but you breeze right through him. You forget he's even there.
Josh Johnson, because he's everywhere.
It's Deshaun Watson. He is the third quarterback on the depth chart right now.
Get the hell out.
But he got promoted to third, even though he's still got a torn Achilles. But it's
Get
Dylan
the hell
Gabriel.
out of here, man.
It's Shaduer Sanders. Ray, so we talked about it already. When do you think we get that Sanders start? And when do we see Sanders?
Give me the schedule. We might see him this week if J.J. Watt gets a hold of Dylan Gabriel. But
Well,
give
that's
me
the
the
question,
schedule.
is that if anything happens to Gabriel, oh, man, Sanders is in. Now we're talking. But we got Pittsburgh this week.
Hold on real quick. Hold on. Time. So Watson's third on the depth chart. Is he like activated? So
I don't think he's able to play.
If something happened to Gabriel, could we see number 4 trot off the bench and go in the game? Where's Watson? He's not healthy, right?
I don't think he's even
Is he
eligible
even
to
eligible
play
to play?
I don't think so.
Okay.
At least
so give me the schedule. Give me the schedule then.
Okay, let me go. Yeah, he's on PUP anyways, so I don't know if he's even able to play.
So it's Shaduer.
But going back to the schedule.
Yeah.
Well, we also need to know who the emergency quarterback is, because they probably have someone on the practice squad. They're obviously not listed on the depth chart. People were saying Bailey Zappi, but whatever. I don't care about Zappi. So they got Pittsburgh. Then they got Miami. Then they got New England. Now, Ray, if the Browns lose to Miami and New England, week 9, we have a bye for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, boy.
And then, wait for it, Ray. It gets even better than that. After the bye, guess where Cleveland goes next? They have a road game.
Is it in Texas?
No, it's not in Texas, unfortunately for you. Think of a bigger market than Dallas.
LA?
No, bigger than that.
New
Bigger
York?
than LA. They go and play the Jets on the road in week 10. So you could, if Dylan Gabriel plays bad enough, which I don't think they would bench him for that game, but there is always the potential because of the bye week. If he loses to Pittsburgh, loses to Miami, and gets stomped in New England, maybe, just maybe, you get Shaduer in New York, week 10.
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to just be honest with you. Half of the NFL was at the NBA YoungBoy concert. I saw tweets from about 10 different players that were there. So that is just Crazy. Their generation of stuff. But Crazy. Yeah, listen, I am still full-fledged, full confidence rolling out Quinshon Judkins. The other ancillary options, I thought Gabriel was fine last week versus Minnesota in his first start. That's a tough test for him, right? Brian Flores-led defense. I thought he was okay. This will be a difficult task for him as well, but Pittsburgh's defense hasn't been that good either. Like I know rushing wise, right?
The thing is they're improving.
They're improving.
You're focusing a bit on the beginning, and they're trending a much different direction.
They are improving. I wasn't going to take anything away from that. And offensively, it helps when you have, and I know we don't want to admit it, a competent quarterback back there, sure. A lot better than Kenny Pickett, a lot better than what we were getting from Russ and Fields last year, Aaron Rodgers. Okay, JRich. We got a Thursday night football game. Eagles Giants tomorrow night. Eagles Giants. The Eagles are favored. What's the spread on that Eagles Giants
game? Gotta be like 8.5, right?
You think it's 8.5? Looks like Tyrone Tracy potentially back in this matchup as well.
Yep. Daboll's optimistic he can play, and Darius Slayton probably going to miss the game with a hamstring injury on a short week. Eagles are favored by 7, Ray. 7. Also, did you know that Jackson Dart apparently dealing with a hamstring injury? I didn't know that. 40.5-point over-under. Do they hit it?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
Giants stink. Eagles. Why would the Eagles
realistically, what are you hoping comes out of this game?
Saquon 250
I was going to ask
yards.
you, do you think it's the Eagles passing attack or Saquon Barkley? Because both of them have been stank. Both have been sorry this season.
Saquon. It's Saquon.
It's the Saquon. Is Landon Dickerson going to be available? I know they lost Dickerson in the game and he limped off. Today's Wednesday. We'll find out today. I'm with you. I think what do you think about Scatterboo? Do you think it's time to move off of Scatterboo, sell high on that Scat Pack? If Tyrone Tracy's back, they're going to play him too. Like both of them.
Yes, they will.
And maybe that will help Scatterboo. Maybe having another running back there. He's been getting all the touches, right? He still gets volume to death. This is rough for Daboll. Like this is a rough stretch for the Giants upcoming. It's Well, they have the Eagles twice in the next 4 weeks.
Denver is the other one. At Denver. I think this is the home game. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. So let me go Giants.
This is,
this is the home game at Denver, at Philly, versus San Fran, at Chicago, versus Green Bay, at Detroit, at New England. Then the bye.
Does Daboll survive to the bye?
Look, if they look like they looked against the Saints, no shot. Because imagine what would happen if they played as bad as they played against the Saints, against any of these other teams.
Yeah, they get rolled.
Even against Philly, against Denver, even
they get rolled.
I'm really worried for Jackson Dart in Denver because
you should be worried about him on Thursday.
In New Orleans.
You should be worried about him here.
At least he's at home, right? I'm worried about him here, but at least he's at home. In Philly and in Denver, he's screwed, man. Like he's in big trouble, and those defenses are good.
Now we did this 2 weeks ago. They got no shot. They got no chance in hell against the Chargers. No shot, and they handled them. They handled the Chargers.
But the defense played well. I don't know if we'd say the offense really played. The offense did enough to win the game. They put up 21 points in that game, but the defense played well. Is the defense going to play well against Philly? Probably not. Probably not that well. Probably not the same. And same thing against Denver. And Denver's offensive line is probably better than Philly's right now because Philly's
Dickerson.
Up.
Okay, we got confirmation. Dickerson out 1 to 2 weeks. So no Landon Dickerson in the game. No Landon Dickerson. That is a problem. And people are saying Tracy is a better runner. Like he's a better runner than. Yeah. Better runner than. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hit the music, man. Hit the music.
It's a problem. Big problem.
It's 10 things we love / hate going into week 6. JRich loves that Kansas City offense. Loves that Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, Tyquan Thornton offense. Top 5
Not
in the NFL.
Not even naming the good players. Just naming the bad ones.
I'm naming the players that are producing. Tyquan Thornton leads him in receiving. Kareem Hunt, game-winning to game-tying.
Two touchdowns, Kareem Hunt.
Two touchdowns. I'm naming all the guys that you say makes this a top 5 offense. JRich, get us out of here.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you do want to watch some baseball today, some great baseball games, Ray. Your Dodgers. I'm sorry, Adam. Your Dodgers are going to clinch it today. They're going to win. They're going to get through. We got Milwaukee probably going to come through as well. We'll see if the Jays and Yanks game is a classic. Should be a good game. And ultimately, Ray, Philly's going to get a big dub on Thursday Night Football. But Jay, I'm excited, man. It's a good week. What's up?
Jay, you know what they call my son on his baseball team?
What?
The little dumper. They call him the little dumper, man. He's got a stick, JRich. He's got a stick. I'm a proud dad. I'm gonna show you the stick. I'm gonna show you this. If I put this on here, I think I gotta add it as an animated overlay. I gotta show you the little dumper last night in our scrimmage, JRich. I'm gonna put this on the screen because I love my little man. Look at. Oh, let me make this bigger. Watch this. Watch this little. Yeah. Oh. Look at the little dumper, JRich. The 5-year-old, the dumper. Let's do it again. One more time. There he is. Get that pitch. Yak. Bang. Let's send that shit, baby. Let's send it, baby. The little dumper out there getting it done. JRich, much love.
Y'all got some nice fields out there. Jeez, that's a better field than I've ever played baseball on in my entire life. It's there.
It's a nice practice facility, JRich. We pay for it. We pay for it. The little dumper getting it done out there. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody. Every eye, every ear. Subscribe to the podcast feed. Hit the thumbs up button. Like it. Y'all make today great. Have a fantastic Wednesday and wake y'all asses up with us on Friday. Much love. We'll see y'all then. We out. Peace, baby.